So I want to encourage you that you did the right thing. It takes courage to lead, even to be able to give feedback. I think one of the things most leaders say, I want to create a performance culture, high performance culture, but they don't want to have the courageous conversations, especially when it comes to someone did something. Now, it's much harder when there's a power differential where you defer to this person because of seniority, impact, or whatever. So well done. Second thing is that check your intention. What is it that you really wanted to get out of that? Is it that you wanted to share your perspective? Because that alone is valid enough. My perspective here is, when you said this, when you shouted at us, this is how we felt. Maybe you didn't realize your voice is getting louder. Some people, there's some cultures where shouting is a sign of love and respect. But maybe you come from a culture where it's the opposite. And you're like, what's going on here? And then the third thing, which I have found was the most liberating, is don't take responsibility for how someone takes your feedback. For as long as you've been respectful and mindful, and you've used the I words as opposed to the blaming, you make us feel. Because when you take responsibility for someone's response, it makes the situation so much harder. And actually, the evil DJ now tells you, you see, you shouldn't have been doing this.
And then you're like, I'll never do this again.
And because of pride, which dies 24 hours after we are dead, chances are people will typically feel blindsided. You have had time to think about it. They don't even remember what happened. And that's okay. Kind of make peace with that. Because another way is to say, okay, today I want to talk to you about this. Is this a good time? No. Can we talk tomorrow? Which means you've given them a bit of leeway. But sometimes you don't have that opportunity. And I think the last one is very much around the higher people become, the higher, more senior, more impactful, the fewer people tell them the truth. So they may not respond now because there's a pride of just human existence. But later on in their quiet time, they'll be like, let me think about that. And you have given them a gift of feedback that will help them have more insights on the impact of their behavior. They may never come back to tell you, make peace with that. They may not tell you, thank you, make peace with that. If they do, wow, what a leader. But it's okay if they don't. So you do your part, because right there you led. You led. Now the problem is, the higher you go, the fewer people you can be accountable to, the fewer people will tell you the truth. See? So then what happens? You become more ego, more. There's even sometimes no circle.
Just you.
I am accountable to myself because I am so senior, which I think is a fallacy. So, should people have accountability? Should leaders have accountability partners, accountability circles?
How do you choose those accountability partners?
And it's a great question. And Antonia was saying something about this.
I thrive with accountability partners. So I have friends that I strategize my life with annually, and we keep each other accountable. I've been doing that for about 7-8 years. I've had boards in my business. They hold me accountable. But recently I'm getting more experimental about my board because it's a life board. It's not just work or business or this company or that company. And I'm trying to be more conscious about who I want to be like, and sort of finding those people But it really helps to have, because even something as simple as just my lawyers, I give them my monthly strategy. And they ask me about it every month. Have you done it? Why haven't you done it? Why didn't you do it? What's stopping you? What do you need to fix? And just knowing that they're going to ask me gets me prepared, like 2 weeks before. So, but that's accountability, right?
It is. It's a great point. I love that. Because they also then they can serve you better. Taking the example of the lawyers, they can actually tell you, we see that this is highly risky. Have you thought about how to hedge that risk legally? What's your exposure here? As opposed to going to them after the fact. So they can be proactive about helping you legally. So it becomes
but even if it's not legally, even if it's
way.
something else, they'll be like, you've been going around this thing for 3 months, it's not happening. Why is it not happening? What do you do? You need to let it go? Find someone else, something needs to shift because it's on the list and it's not happening. Why?
Right.
Just something, just an experience I went through where we had a business and had business partners. And I remember in hindsight now, you look at it from, you're here now, you're seeing yourselves, how you used to behave and the things you're doing and how you're making your decisions. And just the humility to accept that I had no accountability. Like I had no, in the sense that I didn't have accountability people in my life to go to ask for counsel, like advice about things. And sometimes we would sit and make decisions that we have no clue about. And because we're the bosses and we're looking like the bosses and we're giving orders, there's that angle of some pride comes in, and we failed to seek counsel, not just advice on so many things. And I think as a leader now, I totally get that concept of accountability, getting accountability partners, and also sometimes you have to call your own, you know what we mean. Just call yourself out and self-introspect. Like literally, and as much as I can point fingers at somebody else, what role do I play as a leader in that space? That had I done things differently? Because right now I know that if I had done things differently, certain things would not have happened, and we were just clouded by ego. So as leaders, we need to really check our ego and the only way that can happen is if you have accountability partners.
And people who can now be honest with you. Those accountability partners had better be honest, right? It's not going to be helpful if they also just that doesn't help.
Criteria.
What is the criteria?
Honesty is an important one. Values.
Maybe they know you well as well, to some extent.
Yeah. They need to know you, but they don't have to know you too well, because sometimes them not knowing you so much can hold you even more accountable. But also others, like my husband is on my personal board, so he knows. He knows how we come. He knows the struggles, so he can be very honest and tell me, oh my goodness, I can't even believe you've done that. You see, so a good mix. I think that they need to be generous enough to give you time. To tell you, let me introduce you to this person. I think this is an idea you need to think about. I think you need to sign up for this program so that you can step up on these skills. But we also need to be vulnerable.
So we can receive.
To actually say, I'm really struggling with this, or these are my goals, or I don't know, or help me figure this out. So there's no point of, I think that everyone has the capability of constituting I call it a personal board of directors. And those people are around us. You say it's 2 phone calls away, they're usually around us. And they don't have to serve, not everyone on your personal board has to serve a lifetime on your board. You should have some time limits for some of them. That during this season, I know that this is how, and for us also not to be selfish, that we have people on our personal boards, but are we also serving on other people's? Whether it is casually, formally or informally, but are we also helping other people? So that criteria and then they need to be discreet, that they're not sharing your business with other people. And I think in this day and age where being confidential, being discreet is a hard thing for a lot of people. That what you say is kept there. It remains here. And as a result of that, then I know I can be vulnerable. So that wise vulnerability, it comes with trust, which can grow over time. I think it's important to also check what is the expertise or what are they bringing to the table. So maybe let's say like the lawyers, someone else can be a spiritual guide, someone can be a leadership coach, someone can be traveling, finance, someone can be a good friend, and they see you like that. So it's to ask yourself, in this season, what do I need to become my next best self, to rise? And who do I then need to be accountable to?
I found that my accountability partners are also the needs for my future are changing. So I kind of need different types of mentorship.
Absolutely.
So that's also interesting, that it's not always the same people.
Static.
It's for where you want to go.
And you probably need someone who has such an alternative view. And just tells you, I think, have you thought of, and you're like, wow, that is left side for sure. I never thought of that. But then that also opens our minds and the possibilities. So you also want people who stretch you way out of your comfort zone. So when I think about leadership in a nutshell, I think that this idea of iconic leaders, superstar leaders, charismatic leaders, I think that era is dying. And I'm glad, because not everyone can be charismatic, iconic, etc. I think that the season now that we are in, from a generational perspective, we've moved away from leaders, maybe you can call them managers, but anyway, leaders who just mobilized resources and used people as tools.
Leaders, not bosses.
Yeah, there were more bosses than anything, or maybe they were just managing resources, where they saw people as a staff number or a tool. Yeah, so then we moved from there. We moved from there, and of course, we've had all these iconic leaders, superstar leaders, charismatic leaders, and people have tried to become like them, which is so against yourself.
Yeah.
Let me speak like that iconic leader.
Yeah.
You could learn something.
Yeah.
But I have my voice, I have my style, I have a way that I can communicate. I can be me.
Yeah.
So leadership has moved from superstar
Copying.
leadership, copying, trying to be like, to a leader is one whose aim is to create more leaders and to create a team of stars, and is not afraid to be a follower as and when the situation requires of it. And I think that requires a lot of humility. It requires a lot of introspection. It requires a lot of unlearning. A lot of the things we have been told we should be. And when we do so, we truly become our next best selves.
What about in the corporate setting?
Same thing. Same principle applies.
What were you
Where
thinking
it's so
about
tough.
that?
Where it's tough to not look up to somebody.
You can respect them
Yeah.
and learn from them, but you don't have to become them.
Yes.
That's a bit freaky, right?
But it happens by osmosis. You have to be so careful.
Right.
So if I'm in a business where people always shout, let's use shouting.
Right.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, you realize, I now talk so loudly. I didn't even realize I've become, because if you're shouting, we're all shouting. So it's also to do an examination of conscience, perhaps, every night, every day, and say, who am I becoming? How are my goals going? Which is going back to what goals you may have set for yourself. And of course, the corporate space is a whole different world.
You have to align. You also
another
have to
show.
align to the company you're working for to begin with, right? But I think a lot of people don't have the luxury if you're just looking for a job, right?
So fortify yourself, build yourself, and I think that's really the lesson, that you have a lot of power. I think we only feel powerless when we don't see options. But the minute you start to see options, whether it's I can respond like this, this is the only job
That's
I
still
have,
an
for
option.
example, but I can respond like this. I can do this differently. I can learn this new tool. So I think also a leader is supposed to hopefully help people see that they have ways in which they can grow through creating multiple possibilities.